Sorcerers! Josh here. Today was supposed to be a day off for me. And then, I posted the video last night. There was some interesting reaction to it. And I thought, well, maybe I need to make some clarification. Maybe I need to, make sure people are understanding where I'm coming from. I've had a lot more people start watching the channel. I thought, well, maybe they've not watched the older videos where I've kind of talked about what I wanted to do. So I thought I'll make a video, just brief some of that, maybe just like a primer, right? And then after that, Eric's Curiosa makes an innocuous announcement. Hey, here's the new rule book, guys, just so you have it for Arthurian Legends. Has all the, the lance ability and the discussion about, the split power and defense and all that good stuff. And then there was at the very top of it, and oh, by the way, we're going to increase deck size. Okay. So now all of a sudden we're going from 40 minimum spellbook to 50 minimum spellbook. And we're going to go from 20 minimum atlas to 30 minimum atlas. And oh, just so you know, the plan is to go to 60 spellbook, 40 atlas minimum. That is the plan. All right. Then someone dug up, just so everyone knows, this has been the plan. And people are like, I don't remember this. And I've been in since the Kickstarter, and I have too. Don't remember this. But then there it is. Eric stating in April of 2023, the plan is 60-40. It's there. There it is from Eric. Okay. So that's the plan. And then things just got a little nuts. And we started to see some of the things that we saw with just a rock. So, here I am again to talk about the topic of the hour. Look, 50-30. Here's the thing I want everyone to keep in mind, right? They play tested Arthurian Legends. We know that. I'm sure that when they play tested it, they probably were making decks at 40-20 and decks at 50-30. And they were like playing it with 50-30 and they're like, this feels good. This feels right. Yes, 50-30 with the additional cards that are added in to, with what we have, you can make decks that are 50-30. And notice, they didn't try to go to 60-40, which was apparently the plan all along, so they don't feel the card pool is big enough. So they may have even play tested with 60-40 and we're like, nah, it's not enough yet, guys. We need more cards. And so instead they settled on this middle place, 50 in the spellbook, 30 in the atlas. Well, their play testing of it, and given the game that we have now, the game that we have with beta, I gotta assume that they had some of the same play testers and that they feel that the play is best at 50-30. So let's all keep that in mind, that not only have we not seen all the cards in Arthurian Legends, but in addition, this has all been play tested thoroughly to be a fun and enjoyable game. That's the goal here. Eric's Curiosa has been very clear. We're not designing a game for competition, which some people want more of that, and that's great. That's fine too. They're designing a fun game. They want the game to be fun. So I've got to think when they went to 50-30, that was something that they thought was good and fun. Now, to start off, just looking at this initially, obviously the big thing that this impacts, and one of the things that's going to be a bit of a negative, getting to those elites, getting to your uniques, is going to be much more difficult with 50 cards and 30 cards, and even more so once we get to 60-40. So that is a downside. That is something that, I can understand that concern. A lot of people like to build around some cards, and a lot of those cards are unique, whether it's Immortal Throne, or whatever it is. They like to get to that unique card. Roots, right? We all know Roots. So, you know, and I'm sure there's other things that people like to build around to try, and I'm sure that there were going to be plans to do that with things in Arthurian Legends. It's going to be more difficult now. No questions. That is just the truth. That being said, right now there's a lot of complaints about Roots. A lot of complaints that it needs banned, that it needs to be out of play. Well, Ars Curiosa, you know, they haven't really given us this competitive side of tournament stuff that some people want, you know, so it's kind of up to the tournament organizers if they're going to ban Roots. And as far as I know, no one has outright banned Roots at any of the major events so far. Maybe they have, and I just don't know, but I don't think they have. So maybe this was Ars Curiosa's solution. They're like, look, the whole roadmap is 60-40. So this short-term problem we're seeing with Roots, we're not even going to address it. We don't need to address it. We're adding 10 more cards to the Atlas as of Arthurian Legends. So obviously getting to Roots with Crossroads, with your Mulligan, and even with Seer is going to be much more difficult. So I see why, you know, that's the good side of this. Some of those cards that you really didn't like to see, it's going to be tougher to get to them. So that's a good, positive thing, potentially. And again, they play tested all this. I think it's going to be fine, guys, that those uniques still have an impact. Now, maybe it's a bit more swingy than some folks would like, because those uniques showing up is going to be more, it's not going to happen as often, so some games will swing a little bit more. But if that's the fun that they're aiming for, that's the type of game that they're aiming for. And we have to play it that way. Or we just say, you know what? We're playing 40-20 and that's it. I hope that folks don't do that initially. I think we need a bigger player base before we start saying, okay, we're going to have the beta format where we all play 40-20 and we only use beta. Or some people are like, we're sticking to 40-20 period. That's just how our events are going to be. I don't know that the community has enough players yet to really, you know, where we break up like that. I would have some concerns about that becoming the norm initially. So I'm hoping folks at least give this a chance. You know, let's give it a chance. Let's give 50-30 a chance. Now, other things though, in terms of deck building, right? I was personally feeling a bit worried about all these new cards. What am I going to have to cut? You know, what new decks obviously will I be designing, but there may be some existing decks that I just want to modify. How am I going to fit the cards? What cards am I going to cut from my 40-20? Well, now I've got 10 extra cards in my Spellbook, my Atlas, that I can just add Arthurian Legends cards with. So they've made my deck building process a little bit easier. I'm not going to have to make as many hard cuts. So I think that that's actually kind of a positive thing, is that, well, I can add, you know, some of these new cards, and I'm not even going to have to necessarily pull anything out of this deck that I don't want to pull out. So I think that's actually kind of an exciting thing about the deck increase overall. On the other hand, the bad side of that is probably going to see a lot more of the cards that search the deck, cards that allow you to draw, cards that allow you to basically look at the top card of your deck, put it on the bottom, right? So Seer, and the cards that do that. So I am concerned that we will start to see some cards like Common Sense. People are starting, you know, instead of running just a couple copies, now people are running 4 copies because they want to be able to get to those cards. That's a little bit worrisome. And it also depends how many of those types of cards do we get in Arthurian Legends. You know, I don't want to see a bunch of decks where it's like, well, you know, I don't know, those 10 new cards you've got to add are all additional cards that let you search your deck in some way. I don't know that I like that. Now, on the other hand, if there's more draw mechanic to offset it that everyone has access to, and we've already seen that in one of the Arthurian Legends cards, the Sealy Court, I think is what it's called, Sealy Court. You know, if there's a lot of draw mechanic for every element, or at least, you know, 3 of the 4, I don't know, 2 of the 4 might be too low, but 3 of the 4, you know, that might be, I would be okay with more of that draw mechanic, cards that let you draw more that everyone kind of has access to than the search your deck type mechanics, you know, because I think those could do some more fun things. Or maybe we'll get a mix of both. Maybe we'll get a couple cards that search the deck, a couple cards that let you draw, you know, more, and it won't be so polarizing. But that is a definite concern. But overall, you know, what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to keep in the back of my mind, just like I did with Just a Rock, we haven't seen the whole set. They have play tested this to the end of the earth, I have to assume, because they gave us such an excellent product with beta. I've got to assume that there was very, very thorough play testing, that they probably play tested at 40-20, 50-30, 60-40. They settled on 50-30 as the feels right spot. Is it going to change the way we play the game? Without a doubt. But I still think we're not going to lose the strategy. I don't think we're going to lose the enjoyment and the fun of the game. And that's what I'm here for, is that enjoyment of actually playing the game and the fun things that happen in it, the unexpected. So that's where I think we're going to go with this. So just like Just a Rock, just hold on, guys. Don't flip those tables just yet. We're going to get there. I feel pretty confident that this change is going to be for the better in many ways that we just don't see yet. So that's it for me today. I hope I don't have to make a video tomorrow. We'll see. But anyhow, keep on contesting the realm. Start planning those 50-30s, guys. Talk to you later.